All right, let's move on here. Mike, you know what I think? I think this Owen Benjamin guy, he's obsessed with us.
That's all he,
all he talks about is us.
He can't even do a show without
talking about us. Can't even do a show without talking about us, Owen? I love
how the tables have turned.
I love all the Spurg Bears because it's always like these dumb bears actually put bear in their name, and they try to play the I don't even watch Owen. I'm like, your name is Thunder Bear. You clearly, you know what I mean? Like, because they think that if the insult's coming from a Joe Everyman instead of a bear, that it means more. So it'll be like, a fuckboy bear. I don't even like Owen. Yeah, you do. You have bear in your fucking name. You like Owen. Like, stop. All right? And I don't care. Fucking go for it. But Owen, can you please stop talking about us? We have more important people to cover, man.
By the way, remember when we started, remember when we got in that bear Discord and we were fucking with him? Remember when we astroturfed the, Colmersh Elmer Fudd? It drives him insane. We started
yeah.
And now you notice people are doing it.
They've been doing it. They've been calling you Elmer Fudd.
Get a lot of Elmer Fudd over here because they really think it bothers me. They don't realize we started that.
Because they're stupid people, Mike.
We did that so that the bears would out themselves immediately. And it's like, oh, bear. Oh, you're a bear. Doing the Elmer Fudd thing. I was like, how does that even make sense for me to be bothered by that?
Don't worry, because right now there's somebody posting on one of their Discords, hey man, they're talking about Owen again. Hop on, check them out, check out what they're doing.
But yeah, every time somebody comes in here and they're like, hey, look at this fat guy on the left and this fucking retard with the wacky eyes on the right. Psh, yeah, and then you look at the names like Logos Bear.
And you're like, come on, man. You didn't even try it. Here we go. Johnny Arcade 2, by the way, guys.
Ethan Klein is Joe Rogan for Generation Z. Generation Z is not going to go toward things like that. Generation Z's trap is nihilism, like the Revenge of the Cis type guy.
We're Gen Z now?
Owen, we're the same age. No, but you gotta go.
Nice.
Owen, no, we're not, though. Owen, we're the same age, bud. What are you talking about? We're not Gen Z, buddy.
I love it. I'm Gen Z now.
Young and hip?
I love it. It's very cool. I'm a Zoomer. I'm going to be a Zoomer.
Go toward things like that. Generation Z's trap is nihilism, like the Revenge of the Cis type guy. Like the guy that's just like cynical and bitter and gamma. That's the Gen Z trap. It's not...
Yeah, Gen Z was the first generation in history to be nihilistic and cynical. First time ever.
It's never happened before.
Owen, you're literally Generation X. You were the first generation. You're literally from the generation that invented existential nihilist misery and heroin abuse and wearing flannel. Like, that was them. That was his people.
Jews and Joe Rogan. That's not going to happen. Those guys are they're not going to fall for that shit.
Fall for what?
That doesn't make any sense. Wait, they're not
dilated pupils there, huh?
He is. What? Now here's my thing, right? We stopped covering him. Really,
we
kind of got bored with Owen, and now it's like, why is he fixated?
Because he's not getting. Do you understand? Dummy Bear over here is not getting the attention he needs.
It's true, yeah.
And he likes it. Like he likes when people are, because the worst thing that can happen to Owen Benjamin is nobody talks about him. That's why he started this whole thing when he was on Twitter dropping the N-bomb, and even Rogan's like, hey man, maybe you shouldn't do that stuff on Twitter or whatever. He would rather be on the fringe and whatever, but as long as he has people talking about him, he needs to be, in his mind, needs to be a controversial figure. Look, man, we have almost 20,000 subs now, right? Which isn't a lot. We're fucking small bananas, right, compared to every other people. But the fact that you're coming now, you're trying to poke us to elicit a reaction, it's going to work. Why? Because you're easy to make fun of, right? But if you take a step back for a second, you need attention this bad? Like, you need these people. Everybody needs to be talking about Owen. Did you see Crazy Owen? Owen, you're like a shock comic, right? Where it works for a little while, but after a while, then you turn into Jim Norton, and nobody really cares anymore about your shock humor. Like, nobody cares anymore. We know the Jews, Owen. We got it. We know black people. Can I
give Owen some advice?
Sure.
You really got to kick it up a notch. Like, if you want us to acknowledge you again, You gotta get weird with it, man.
Yeah, a little weirder.
You've been very stagnant lately. I think you got to kick things up a notch. My advice, that's all.
So, this you were telling me this about this one before the show. Owen detaches from his wife rather than communicate. That's the title of the video. Let's check it out.
It's so true, too. I'm just like, fuck Joe Rogan.
Sober.
Totally sober.
Sober.
Honestly, if I got sober and I acted like this, I'd lie.
Guys, if I was on speed, I'd tell you.
If I was this lacking in wit and I was this just like, I'm just like a mess, but I was sober, I would lie to people.
And say you were
I'm
drunk.
back on drugs. So I'd be too embarrassed to go, this is my true form, right? It's like lying about it. There's something wrong with you, dude. There's something wrong with him, and he's not sober. There's no way he's sober.
And it does make you a much happier person. That's the irony of, like, what people say about me is so the opposite. I almost want to, like, write to them and say, hey, man, if you want to say, like, actual negative things about me, here's a list. You're
There you go.
way off.
I actually want to contact people and give them a pre-approved list of things they're allowed to criticize me for. And any other outside opinions about me are irrelevant and untrue.
And his list is like, guys, criticize it. I care too much.
But this is
Criticize it. I give too much love.
I love too much.
Guys, criticize it. Sometimes I'm too much of a positive person.
This is classic narcissism.
Fucking crazy.
This is a man. No, this is classic narcissism. This is, imagine, Royce, if our audience, like 70% of them, very vocally started picking apart like something you said, and like let's just say you fucked up one day, you let a little thing slip, and it was foul, and everybody's like, "That's horrible. You're horrible." Da 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 da. Right? If 70% of your audience was like, "Fuck you, dude," you'd probably at least. I'm not saying you'd change, but you might take a moment and think about that and go, "Wow, 70% of people don't like me. I might have fucked up there." But he's literally like, no, you're wrong. I'll give you a list of things that are wrong with me, but that's not wrong. That's narcissism. When a whole room full of people goes, dude, come on, man. And you're like, no, I'm right. It's like, no, you're a narcissist.
Could I be the problem? No, it's the Gammas who are wrong.
Like if you're at a wedding and everybody you do or say something and the entire wedding goes, Jesus Christ, dude. And then you're like, no, I'm right. And it's like not even your wedding. It's like, that's narcissism. You're supposed to be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Like, thunder tugging. It's like, I'm not a hateful person at all. Like, not even a little bit.
Could you imagine living in that house?
No. That's why he's in a shed in the yard, Mike.
Could you imagine if, like, every night, instead of doing, like, just a regular show, which I do whatever. Now, imagine I just went out back, like, in the little screened-in porch area. And let's just say that I did my show out there on a laptop.
And screamed.
Just crushing beers, breaking bottles, yelling, right? And like every time it's lightning, I'm like, ah! Like you'd be going, the amount of anxiety that would ramp up, not only in the house, but in the neighborhood. It's like this man has no concept of that. He's a narcissist. There's never this worry of like, I'm making a scene, or he never thinks,
Of anybody
maybe
else?
I'm ruining this for everyone around me, and he's just in a back porch all day smashing beer bottles. It's like, how is that acceptable? And then to be grandiose about it and cavalier and go, I'm right, and you're all fucking not logos. It's like, what? This poor woman has children and a schizophrenic in her backyard. You know what I mean?
Just screaming all night.
Ah, lightning! Okay, stop being a child about it.
Franklin's out there crushing.
He's getting worse.
Like, I'm the dude that can get over an argument or a fight in like 1 minute.
He's losing it, dude.
No one's. Wow, this is a maniac. He's a maniac.
He's worse.
Yeah,
right?
Since we've started covering him, because at first it was like, guys, the moon. We never went to the moon, but now he's just maybe it's because it's edited out just his eyes, but I think He's descending deeper and deeper into madness.
I want to go back and watch his like pre-Christmas vids now.
When he was normal?
When he was going crazy, but like compare it to this, and he still wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I'm crushing it.
Like, now it's just he's cackling in a backyard. Like he wasn't doing this a year ago.
No.
When we first were like discovering his craziness, he was noticeably crazy, but we weren't like he wasn't cackling in his backyard and yelling at the lightning. This is getting worse.
If I'm like arguing with someone or having a fight with someone or having a beef, if someone just makes a joke or says anything that breaks the tension, I don't stay mad at all. Like I'm like, nice.
Dude, first off,
He doesn't hold a grudge, Royce.
what friends? No, because he's acting like he has friends. What friends? Owen?
Alex Jones.
No, not his friend.
Steven Crowder.
Not his friend.
Tommy Robinson.
Not his friend.
Gavin McGinnis.
Not his friend.
Eric Nimmer.
Well, definitely not his friend.
Steve Pinder.
Not his friend.
Coddington Bear.
Not his friend.
Dolev.
Definitely not his friend anymore.
Wow, it's almost like he's the problem.
Nah, it can't possibly be. That guy at Epcot that told him to knock it off, there's kids around.
No, it's the children that are wrong.
Yeah, it's not really in me to be angry. Dude, you look so insane.
Banned.
Here we go.
Banned.
Worth it. Dwelling on an argument is gay? Yeah. I'll hold a grudge, but just out of principle.
I'm sorry,
It's not like-
pause. Somebody in the chat said, how did Nick Fuentes ever think it was okay to associate with Owen? When has Nick Fuentes, and look, I'm no fan of Nick Fuentes, but when has he ever associated with Owen? Ever. I know he was going to do that thing because
Right.
he was, you keep pushing a man, even if he's a very tiny 19-year-old man who lives with mommy.
19 for 20 years now.
You push a man far enough and he might eventually have to address it. He might have to come at you. But when did he ever, even when they went, dude, your logos, you and Owen are like 100% the same. He did the whole well, I wouldn't say that. So I don't know what you mean.
It doesn't actually bother me. It's like, I have a grudge against, like, Steven Crowder. Like, I'll make fun of him forever.
Remember when he said, and we heard it on this very show, nah, I can never be mad at Steve. He helped me find Jesus. There's no way I would ever be mad at Steven Crowder. Now he's holding a grudge with Steven Crowder.
But it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, it brings me a lot of joy.
By the way, and now somebody said, he was on a Red Elephant stream with him once. Okay, I've been on streams years ago with people that were in the National Socialist Movement. I'm not a member of the National Socialist
Right.
Movement. It was, hey, you want to come on a stream? Oh, look, these other people are here. I wouldn't call that a deep fucking affiliation.
Just like knowing that he can't say shit because he sold his soul.
What?
It's fun. It's a stress reliever.
No one's less stressed than us, guys.
Look at those eyes.
Black eyes. Like a doll's eyes.
But like, if that was my friend, right? Even without the babbling, if they were just sitting there quietly, and I looked at those eyes, I'd be like, "Hey man, you all right?" Right?
You look stressed.
Those
You
are
look stressed.
Those are, "Hey man, are you okay?" eyes.
You don't keep anything in. No, I mean, I have privacy. I keep stuff in when it's not appropriate. Like, me and Amy had a funny conversation because
He was going to say fight, by the way. Me and him had a funny
But
conversation.
he knows that everything is being picked apart.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to admit his marriage is in fucking trouble, but his marriage is in fucking trouble. Look, granted, my marriage lasted 28 days, so I'm no marriage expert.
Yeah, but it's not like Bob Levy married you.
In the name of, and in the state of New Jersey, and give me some Percocet. But I've had, live-in girlfriends. I've had whatever, I've had relationships that went decently. Nobody's going to put up with this forever. You can't marry a guy who used to play piano and do the Comedy Store and be like, hey, I was in Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler and all this. Like, you can't marry
Don't
that
forget
guy.
Sullivan and Sons.
And Sullivan and Son with the great the greatest comedian of our generation, Steve Byrne. The greatest half Korean, half Irish comedian of our generation.
I don't trust Koreans.
But you can't go from, guy, he shaves, he does he used to wear suits, play the piano. I'm not saying he was great, but he was a D-lister, and that's pretty cool, right? You get a nice fucking Malibu condo. It's not a bad gig. To go from that to being in Gig Harger and you're you have to rip fucking radishes out of the ground while this guy's sitting in front of a broken laptop going, it's like, who cares, dude? It's like Crowder, guys. Guys, Crowder's a homosexual. Honey, what about Crowder being gay? Bottles breaking in. You can't go with that forever. You're going to eventually go, I have to go. I woke up today and decided that I have to do this.
My planet needs me.
Or I have to kill myself. And I've decided that I'd rather not kill myself. So I'm taking the kid and I'm leaving.
It's not appropriate. Like, me and Amy had a funny conversation because she was being kind of demanding, but not negatively, just demanding. And I have like a lot going on, but she needed.
He's got a lot going on, Royce.
What do you have going on, Owen? What's going on? Your streams? Like, what else does he do? He doesn't really travel anymore.
He's a farmer.
He's not, because he already admitted to hiring Mexican guys to do his yard.
He's a farmer. And he's got the tour coming up. He's been planning the big tour.
Where's he touring? What churches is he going to be
Somebody
playing
sent me, I don't want to say who sent it to me because this person may or may not be attending one of the shows, but somebody sent me a flyer that had a couple of cities on it that were very depressing. I can't remember which cities, but that's what I mean. There weren't any. It's not even like I could go Chicago and Milwaukee and they were cities that you're like. Remember the WWF when it was like really popular. It used to run like 2 house shows a night, and they had the A house show circuit and the B house show circuit. Like it was like B house show circuit cities. So it wouldn't be like Detroit, Michigan. It would be like Grand Rapids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It would be at Dayton.
Dayton, Dearborn. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
And I was leaving to do something, and she was like, basically telling me like, well, I could have used your help. And I was like, you have to tell me that. And then I just helped her. And then later in the day, she was like,
packing up her stuff. And I blocked the door and I wouldn't let her leave.
Guys, it's weird because she keeps having like every day I get up and she has less clothes in the house.
It's odd.
All her stuff is missing. It's weird.
What was I just talking about? Sorry, there was like more flashing. Oh, she was like, why are you so quiet? Or is there something wrong? I'm like, no. And then finally I was just like, no, I'm just detached. I just detached.
He's just detached.
And she's like, why? I'm like, because you seemed in a real like persnickety mood, like nitpicky.
Persnickety.
And I don't fight with her anymore. Like we have kids. So it's like when those emotions arise, it's like I either
You got it.
Reed Siege?
No, just he rees.
I'm like, this type of thing isn't a big deal, so I don't feel the need to realign the ship.
Okay, pause.
I don't feel the need to have a conversation with my wife and treat her like a person.
I want to, Your Honor, I'd like to submit Exhibit Z at this point of as far as him being a narcissist. Did you hear that? This just isn't that important to me, so I'm going to shut down.
Just completely detached.
Could you imagine with your marriage if you guys did that?
No.
Like one of you was furious about something, the other one's like, I'm just going to shut down because this doesn't matter to me. Like that's the end of a marriage. That's
terrible.
Marriage. You're better off yelling at each other for 4 hours. That at least you
because at least you're trying.
Yeah, and you get to the end of it and you're both like, I'm gonna just go to sleep. Let's go to sleep. But like when you just like, no, it's not that important to me. Like you can't. That's narcissism.
Teddy Spaghetti goes, that's healthy. That's healthy behavior.
And don't get me wrong, there are times where one person in a relationship is just being a retard. look, both of you, I'm sure, capable of that. I'm sure you take turns sometimes.
I'm always right.
Somebody,
I have the microphone, so I'm always
and
right.
when it's important to her, I just shut down.
Yeah, I shut it off.
Everyone in a couple takes turns occasionally being just retarded, and sometimes things don't need to be dignified. But that's a move you really only save for moments where they're genuinely being retarded, and you can it's like Uno. There's not a lot of pick 4 cards, but they're in there, and every once in a while you can go, look, I'm laying this down on this one issue. You're being retarded. This time I'm not dignifying it, and if you, it's like a gamble. It's a bet, because if you're it's almost like poker. If you're confident in your hand, and you know that they're obviously being retarded, they might, if they're reasonable, eventually come around and go, you know what, earlier I was kind of being retarded about that. But he seems to be doing this about it. He just admitted, if it's not important to me at all, I shut down a lot and detach. You can't break that out often. It has to be, you literally fought with me over how much we spent on those butter knives.
Now,
and that was retarded, and I didn't want to hear it.
Now, I speaking of retarded, you could tell that the words out that we're talking about, Owen, because some bears always show up. The moment we talk, people that are never in the chat, right? This asshole that I'm about to talk about wasn't in the chat.
Signal, like the bat
yeah.
signal?
So this it's just crinkling of old White Claw cans.
It's not an actual bear, though. It's just somebody sucking a dick.
Yeah. So he goes, concern trolling this is retarded. And, honestly, maybe it was like a frozen Asian or somebody that, long time listener, like, oh, man, maybe the real fans don't think this. But the guy's name, Canna-Bear. So if you have the name Bear, I'm really not going to respect what you say. You get that,
Bear
right?
used to listen to us.
Yeah. And he's still the fucking stupid idiot.
No, but he was like one of those that came over from the Bears, and then I guess went back to the Bears.
Yeah. Future Nobody's another one that did that, too. That he's now
6 times.
Yeah, he keeps going. That guy fucking is psychotic. He keeps going back and forth. And now he's going to jerk off because we just talked about him.
You didn't do anything wrong, but I'm just not going to be present when it's the whole, you should have known to do this. You should, I'm like, I got a lot going on today. And so my method is just to detach. And so I'll appear vacant, but I'm really just not engaged.
This is not going to end well.
If you were to tell, let's you're a couples therapist, right? And you were to say that to them, they would go, your marriage has serious problems. That line is not something... No healthy marriage has that line in it. You know what I mean? You don't say, forget it. Let's say he told his wife that because he was angry. Maybe because I've said some shitty things when I'm mad and then I apologize. I go, that was a fucked up thing to say. I was just being mean. But not only did he do it, but he's broadcasting it the next day on his show to his fans on how he's right for doing it. Because, again, as I even thought, people get mad, people say shitty things, and sometimes when you're in fucking the heat of it, you say something really mean.
Oh, yeah.
But then, you go, I was being mean. I didn't mean that. I was just being mean. I knew it was going to hurt your feelings. Sorry, whatever. He thinks, I become vacant, and she's wrong. And it's like, Owen, are you...
No, don't get me wrong. There are times, when I'm in a relationship, and I'll say, not now.
Right.
Because I know I'm so fucking angry.
Right.
That I will say those horrible, mean, awful things. And I try to avoid doing that in relationships. I've gotten better in my older age. So it's there are times where it's no, I want to talk about this now. And I'll be like, look, I know you do, but it's going to be the least constructive conversation we've ever had. How about we have this conversation tomorrow or in a couple of hours and we calm down and we talk about it. But he's just talking about burying it, which is not healthy.
Yeah.
It's okay to sometimes go, we're not going to do this now because I'm just going to call you a cunt and tell you and push you down a flight of stairs. And I'd rather wait, cool off, come back, and we'll circle this back around on this. Dude, this is not good, like you said. This is you could show this in a divorce court and he'd be fucked.
Oh, yeah, this is crazy.
And it's not because I'm angry at all. It's because I'm if I engage, I'll have to reset the course of the ship, and that will require
effort, love, compassion,
understanding,
human nature. No, I mean
humility,
some sort of pride in your marriage. Those are the things it would require.
Love for your child.
Love for your neighbors.
A desire for your child to live in a stable home. Whatever. I'm just throwing things out there. What?
This is fucking amazing.
It's always fun to circle back.
I love this.
It's always fun to circle back around to this dipshit.
Yeah, because
he really is just the best. He's the gift that keeps on
giving. The longer
giving.
you don't watch him, every time, because it's been a while, we don't really talk about him that much anymore. When you go back to him, you're like, oh my God, he's getting worse. It's like when you visit, unlike Anthony Kuma, you visit a relative that starts losing their mind. And every year you go back and you go, oh
Anthony,
no.
You did that so little. You did that so under the table. Unlike Anthony, but other people, normal people when you go to visit a family that has dementia.
You're like, you go, oh no. They don't remember. They remember even less this year.
Oh no.
Owen.
That is Owen though. He's gonna, in a few years, he's gonna be babbling about just Revenge of the Sis and Crowder.
You're right.
That'll be it.
In his shed outside when no one's in the home anymore.
And the dementia will blur everything together, so he'll be talking about how we live with Crowder and Alex Jones on the moon.
His keyboard's missing keys.
Guys are torturing me from the moon. We thought we couldn't get there. I don't know anymore. It's just like, dude, you gotta let go, man.
And that will require a lot of eye contact, very affirmative speech that sometimes can sound like a tone.
But I'm not capable of it. That would require a lot of eye contact. Imagine having a wife, but not only that, you a wife and you have children that you love, and not even being able to go, I'm going to make eye contact with you.
And for the record, somebody saying the computer programmer guy who lost his mind, that's Terry Davis. Terry Davis was never as obnoxious, narcissistic, arrogant, and unlikable as Owen. Terry Davis was likable. Like the internet, that was one of the only locales of the internet people were mostly nice to, because it was they goofed on him and they trolled him, but like he was likable. People liked Terry Davis. This guy is just a piece of shit.
So I just don't engage because it's like it passes. It's like the rain. Women get very focused on details and they spite you for not picking up on something they need that they didn't verbalize. And so the best thing to do is just don't engage with it. It'll
Dumper
pass.
in the chat says, eye contact rationing engaged. It's just, God, we have to ration out this eye contact. I can only look you in the eyes for like 4 seconds a day, hon. Do we want to waste it on a fight? This is just Owen Benjamin. Owen Benjamin was traumatized because as a kid he would always lose staring contests.
Yeah.
Now he just can't bring himself to look in anyone's eyes anymore. It reminds me of how I failed in competitive eye contact.
Hold on. By the way, I love that this happened because we mentioned this before the bears started coming in the chat. Another one. I'm going to read it. You stupid fat gammas need a BTFO on Owen.
First of all, that we are BTFOing Owen. We've
Doesn't
been doing that
understand it.
for a year. I love that this boomer doesn't know what BTFO means.
You combat vet bear, you idiot. Don't you understand? When you're a bear, we immediately don't respect you.
And also, BTFO doesn't stand for back the fuck off. BTFO stands for blow the fuck out.
No.
Which is what we do to Owen on a regular basis.
Shut up, dude. Leave him alone. That guy probably has Fortunate Son playing in his head all the time.
And he never served.
No.
Well, I had a foot thing.
One time, I broke my leg, and I had to watch Platoon all day.
I got out the draft because I had a hair lip. How does that disqualify you?
Beat it, bear!
Faster than you can possibly imagine. And if you call it out and you start like really
Trying and caring and loving.
Loving your wife, trying to compromise human emotions.
I don't know how good this is going to be, but I got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised.
It's a lot of fun.
saying like, listen, you have, because I did, as soon as it happened, I said, listen, you have to tell me these things.
Guys.
Like, I can't just pick it up. Like, I do everything.
You know I can't read human emotions. I can't tell that you're sad, even though you're scowling at me. And I literally was just told. He can't pick it up, even though she goes, be nice if you would have helped. That's not enough for him to then go. But he said it earlier. That's what she said. She said, it'd be nice if I had some help. And Owen's like, I don't get what you need. Help, Owen. She probably needs help.
Yeah, that's just, you know what the answer to that is? Like, that's the thing, too. Like, it just, I'm sure she asked, whatever he was, she probably asked him already 50 times, and he ignored her. But
You're right.
It's very easy to just, like, I don't even have to be married to somebody for something. Like, if you could ask for it, hey, man, could you just help me carry this thing out there real quick? Yeah, it's no problem. I don't understand what we're like, hey, man, really could use a lot of help today. We're trying to prep for this party or whatever. Then the only appropriate answer to that, Owen, is, all right, what do you need? What do you need me to do? And I'll try to get it all done. All right, cool. Yeah. You need me to grab some stuff? Got it. That was too much for him.
Too much.
It was too much.
Making eye contact was too much for him. Mike, you expect him to do it?
With his wife.
With his wife. You think you expect him to do something else?
If you said to me, I met the president, and I was nervous, and I couldn't even make eye contact. And I'm like, well, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Just making eye contact with your wife shouldn't be like
you have children.
Yeah, you sound like you're married to Dan Crenshaw. It should be hard to make eye contact with your wife.
The trick is to stare at the mouth. That way you're not looking at their one weird eye.
Totally.
Just looking at them.
Yes, of course.
Start noticing fillings.
We will cross the T's and dot the
Lowercase
lowercase J's.
I like to think I have an eye for detail.
Why would we say anything about your eye, Dan? That one weird eye. Can somebody edit Dan Crenshaw into that scene, please?
Oh, fuck.
You need me to do?
That is the perfect sketch, though. Dan Crenshaw trying to pass the red flag laws.
Yes.
Because that's all about paperwork.
Yes.
You just edit in Garth and fucking Wayne.
But I also have a very demanding career job thing.
A very demanding career job thing.
He infuriates me.
I know,
Like,
it's
there's
so-
times it's funny, and then there's other times you really want to swing at him.
Whatever this is. Like, the amount of focus it takes is incredible. So it's like, and they think we can read minds. Exactly, we can't. To the point where it's absurd. And so when it gets too absurd, I'm out. But I'm still there, but I'm just not.
Emotionally there or available. I'm not emotionally available for you. Physically, I'm there, but his head is like Homer.
The little monkey with
Yeah.
the little monkey
Clink,
with the
clink,
cymbals.
clink, 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 clink.
And then they're like, well, she's like, what's wrong?
And I don't like that Johnny Arcade keeps doing these close-ups on his eyes.
I think I
'cause
love it.
really makes it fucking frightening.
But that's why I'm
no, I
thinking
mean,
it.
it's good. I just mean, like, it just scares me. It's just it's like the old Joker videos with the Dark Knight. It just makes it scarier.
Like, absolutely nothing. It's like, well, why are you so quiet? It's like, I'm just not here.
That's what the video ends.
That was by the way, that's how the monologue to American Psycho ended. Right?
I'm just not here.
He literally said that he said, yeah, sure. When I shake your hand, you can feel flesh gripping yours, and you can see me and hear me speaking. But the truth is I'm simply not there. That's from American Psycho. This dude's losing his mind.
God damn, Owen. Jesus Christ, man. Well, it'll end one way or the other. Let me read some of these super chats and then we can move on. Or not super chats, Streamlabs, excuse me. We don't get super chats anymore in these parts. Mexi Man and Cheese. Owen Benjamin can be described the same way as Tommy Sotomayor describes black women. He runs on dick and attention and lashes out when he doesn't get it.